First of all, I'd like to thank Michael and the team at Sage for allowing this Besyncly webinar, Lunch and Learn this morning. Most of you will know of Eureka. We are a Sage 200 developer stroke ISV and have been developing Sage since 2004. And this morning we're going to go through our latest product, which is an integration platform specifically focusing on Sage 200, but I will highlight other products as we go. And here we go. So we have our agenda this morning is an overview of Besyncly. We'll then go into the product and we'll give you a quick high-level overview of the Besyncly platform, and then we'll take a Q&A and then discuss our commercials, which we're presenting on or around the 8th of August. What is Besyncly? Besyncly is an intelligent cloud-based tool that connects business platforms, eliminating the need for tedious manual tasks and interventions. It's a simple, user-friendly design, and it acts as a bridge between Sage and e-commerce platforms, Sage and Salesforce, Sage and other third-party platforms. The whole idea is moving data quickly and effectively from one system to another. So most of you will remember or know of our data exchange, which we launched in 2005, and we still have many hundred of users of data exchange out there. Now, data exchange is a place out there, and we still sell it today. We sell as many data exchanges as we do Besyncly. Data exchange was focused on CSV integration, where Besyncly launched in lockdown for more API product to product or platform to platform integration. And we focused on 3 assurances when we were designing and developing Besyncly. Number 1, it had to be cloud-based and secure. The product is truly cloud. It sits on the Google platform, and the reason we selected the Google platform was down to the security. When the data is moving from one API to another, the data is encrypted, giving us a secure platform. In addition, Besyncly has a 2-factor authentication as part of the process. It is also platform independent. We integrate with many Sage products, but it is platform independent. It also integrates with other platforms. And number 3, the scalability of the product. As we know, big data is huge, and as businesses grow, their data grows. We have no fear of any size of data, and that will be highlighted as I highlight 1 or 2 of our customers along the way. So currently we've got about 40 or so system connectors, and I'll explain what a connector is from an integration, and we have 500 plus working connector stroke integrations out there in business. Here we have a handful of our customers, and I'm going to highlight a couple. There's one in particular here, Lint Bells, who are a branded product called YouMove. Anyone who has any pets like cats or dogs, Lint Bells supplies the YouMove product, and they process in excess of 12,000 orders per day from their e-commerce platform into Sage 200. The RNA. The RNA used Besyncly to manage the ticket sales, for managing the ticket sales for the Open and many other competitions that they manage. Mrs. Tilly's is a Sage 50 site with integration from their many e-commerce platforms into their Sage 50 system. And Skate Hut up there, Skate Hut supply skateboards. They're very trendy skateboards and accessories and clothing, and they have multiple platforms processing multiple orders. On that site, we also update stock levels, manage pricing on multiple platforms, as well as integrate with their 3PL. So Besyncly has been built and continues to build to handle volumes, i.e. millions of transactions a month go through Besyncly, and billions of pounds of value go through Besyncly on an annual basis. So we have a multitude of connectors as highlighted earlier, and we have, as you can see here, Amazon, BigCommerce, eBay. Apologies, I'm going to go back to the main Sage core connectors. So we have a connector for Sage 50, Sage Accounting, which we call Baby Sage, Sage 200 Standard, and Sage 200 Professional. We're currently in the process of having our Sage Intact connector accredited by Sage. That is currently in process, and hopefully in the coming weeks, that will be our next. We have already written the connector and written the touch points for Intact, and hopefully very soon we will have that accreditation and we'll be able to market and sell that connector for Intact. We also have a connector for Salesforce. This is a common connector for us, where we connect Salesforce to Sage 200 Professional and Sage 200 Standard. One point to note is that each individual connector within Besyncly is independent. So each connector can connect to each connector, i.e. we could connect one Sage 200 system to another Sage 200 system, or a Sage 50 account system to a Sage 200 standard system. So any connector can connect to another connector. And here we have our core e-commerce connectors like Amazon, Shopify, WooCommerce. We believe we have the major 5 in here, being Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, BigCommerce, and obviously your Amazons and eBays. So as mentioned previously, any connector can connect to any connector to bring a process within Besyncly. i.e., if we imagine this being an e-commerce platform on the left-hand side, and we have Sage 200 Professional or Standard in the right-hand side, we can process orders from, say, Shopify into Sage 200. We can allocate, dispatch, invoice, and post those orders. The orders can go directly into a bucket focused web sales ledger account, or they can go directly into a customer account. So we would have to have a common reference, i.e. the supplier's customer code in Sage would be in the e-commerce platform, and we could process that order to that sales ledger account. We can thereafter send dispatch notifications back to the e-commerce for the web developer to email the customer to say your goods have been dispatched. We can manage stock levels from Sage to the e-commerce platform, and pricing and price banding to and from Sage to e-commerce. We can also update products both ways as well as customers. Looking at Salesforce in particular, we can convert an opportunity in Salesforce to become a sales order in Sage, or if they're generating orders in Salesforce, then we can move those as sales orders into Sage. Pass back transactions, stock levels, and pricing, as well as update the relevant products, customers, and accounts within both systems. This is a customer testimonial from a Sage user. I'll let you read that for yourself. It's a huge time-saving solution, eliminating duplications of work. And the Real Olive Company was our first customer, our guinea pig for Besyncly, and still a user today. I like the point there where the Besyncly team has also been a pleasure to work with. Compliments to Michael Hall and his team at Eureka. So let's have a look at Besyncly. As you can see, it's a really smart looking system, well designed, and a great UI. So first of all, I'd like to take you to the terminology. Besyncly is continually being updated and improved, and the more and more functionality is being added to the product. But first of all, we'd like to take you to the dashboard. The dashboard shows the user or the partner the plan that the client's on, their transaction allowance. Now, this is how the product is billed. Currently, the product is billed based on a transaction allowance per month. The entry point for Sage 200 is 20,000 transactions per month at £200 per month. We see this as an active account. The next reset, and it will reset every month, is the 28th of August, and I have a full complement of 20,000 transactions in my demo system. So let's go through the terminology within here. So we have connectors, integrations, templates, webhooks, we have a support element, and we have logs. Let's first of all look at the connectors. The connector is the widget that hooks on to the relevant platform. So if we look at the right-hand side, you will see the connectors we have. I did say it was platform independent, so you'll see additional connectors in here for other ERP systems. But I'm going to create a connector on the WooCommerce platform. So I'm now going to create a connector that will hook on to a WooCommerce platform. So this could be a client's platform. So I'm going to hook on to the domain, log in using the client's password and secret key, and save. Here you'll see my connector there for created today at 12:17. I already have a Sage 200 connector created. So I've now created a connection to my WooCommerce platform. I now want to connect that to my Sage 200 system. So we'll call this Lunch and Learn Orders. So please note, we could also bring in invoices rather than orders if we don't have an order process within Sage. We just want to bring in the invoices. So we could bring in the invoices at this point. But I'm going to create orders from my platform. So I could make it a live or a testing system. I'm now looking for my export connector because the orders coming off are coming from WooCommerce. I go and look for my Lunch and Learn connector. So as you can see there, we have the ability to connect to multiple connectors. So the client may have multiple websites. The client may have multiple companies in Sage. They may have multiple Sages. So this allows me to connect to all those different platforms. I'll go in and connect my Sage 200 Professional. So what the system has done here, it's given me the option of choosing a template. There are 2 templates in the system, and we have public templates within the system to allow me to access those, saving me time when I'm creating the integration. And I'll use this one here. If I wanted to start from scratch, I could click on the advanced settings and build the integration from scratch. But I'll click on this one. And this is a predefined template. On the left-hand side of the screen, you will see the field names for WooCommerce. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see, and we'll perhaps understand or realize these fields within Sage 200. So we allow the mapping from one field to another. Things to note. It may be important for the view in the website to match the stock code in Sage. It's not a deal breaker. Using our Plus pack, we have the ability to use the stock code alias. So with a small piece of dev, we could bring in an alternative SKU on the website and map it to the Sage stock code. But as you know, an integration is more than just mapping one field from an e-commerce platform or a third party into Sage. We want to tell Sage to do certain things. We want to send the payment to the right payment tab. We want to send to the right nominals. We want to pick up the right carriage code. These can all be set within the integration. So here on this integration, we are mapping to everything coming on these orders are going to be supplied by the Woodlands warehouse. It's an order. We're using the Web SC1 charge code. In this specific integration, all the orders are going to go into Web 002 sales ledger account. So this is likely to be a consumer website where all the orders are going into one sales ledger account. However, as I mentioned earlier, we can map the orders into individual business-to-business sales ledger accounts. Payment method in this case is website sales, and we have multiple payment methods. We could have PayPal, SagePay, Stripe, or whatever we're using, and those can all go and be filtered that way. For Sage 200 Professional, we utilize our web service to allow us to filter throughout the system, i.e. if the client doesn't sell all the products that they have within Sage 200 on their website, we can filter those when we're updating the relevant information both ways. This is a payment with full, and with our integration with Sage 200 Professional, the payment in full will automatically be allocated to the invoice for the order when that invoice is posted. And as you can see here, we're going to post it, we're going to generate the invoice, we're going to dispatch it, and as you can see here, it is a payment with order. So it's just a case of adding the fields. At this moment in time, our staff or our Besyncly consultants deliver Besyncly. However, we are currently building an accredited partner list and are currently building our commercial site and having a partner login to allow accredited partners to sell and deliver Besyncly. That is currently in process. A lot more information on that will come in due course. So we build our integration. We can set notifications so that if there is an issue with an integration, i.e. the stock code doesn't match or something similar, then it will halt the integration, send out an email, and allow the user to go and edit that integration and resend that integration. We have a config function, which is generally for our developers to add additional configuration. We could save this integration that we may or may not have edited as a template and use it after. We can save the data, which will allow us to go edit the data at any point. We also have a very powerful scheduler that will allow us to schedule from once a month to every 5 minutes. So if we set a schedule on a weekly process, on a Monday we can select our dates and times for Besyncly to do his or her thing. Or we can set it incrementally and say go do it every 30 minutes and set that as standard. We can switch the integration on and we can save the integration. I'd just like to move that. At the bottom, you'll see an audit log, which builds up as any changes are made to the integration, it adds it to the audit, which obviously helps, which will help our partner support teams as well as our support teams when managing a support call for an issue that the client may have caused when messing about with an integration. We'll close the integration. There's my Lunch and Learn order integration. It is switched on. I can run it manually. I can edit my schedule, edit the notification, emails, see information on said integration, when it was created, when it's next likely to run. We also have a filter, an export filter update, if perhaps we haven't processed any orders from the e-commerce system since the implementation of Besyncly, then we can retrospectively go back, pick up the orders, update the filter, run the process, and it will pick the orders up from that date. We can also edit the integration from here and test the connectors from here. So that's building a connector or hooking on to a platform and creating a connector, building an integration, and the knowledge of the field names over the past two and a bit years. Our staff have certainly learned a lot over the past couple of years with the field names, but that's part and parcel of learning. So we also have the templates that I mentioned before. In here are the templates available that we can use to start off a new integration to save us a bit of time. Webhooks. We have recently added webhooks to Besyncly. Webhooks allows an instant integration. So where, I don't know, let's say if we add a new customer or a new sales ledger account to Sage and we want to create that customer in, say, Shopify, we have the ability for instant creation of integration. So it's specifically created for something that we need to happen instantly within the third party, be it Sage or the e-commerce platform, rather than scheduled. So when something happens in a system, it will update the other system. We have a support element within Besyncly, and one of the main components is the field guide, which will tell you exactly what we do or what Besyncly does, although it's continually updated, what Besyncly does for each platform. If we look at Sage, you'll see here, these are all the touch points on the export side for Sage 200 Professional and the imports. And we've attempted to mirror image data exchange here, and to perform everything that we perform in data exchange can be performed in Besyncly. Please note, Besyncly may be an API tool, but it can also pick CSV files up from an FTP, an SFTP, and an FTPSE as data exchange did. However, Besyncly being a cloud product, it cannot pick files up locally, only from one of those cloud-based platforms, FTP, SFTP, or an FTPSE. If we look at perhaps our most common platform, and I think Shopify would be our most commonly sold e-commerce platform, those are the imports into Shopify, and those are the exports out of Shopify. If we just pop on order, here are the relevant fields that we would map to the relevant field within the Sage system we're integrating to. And as with any system, We have a logging system. I'm not really connected to anything live, and that's why I'm getting my failed connections. But there you'll see the integration that I did do into my Launch and Learn. You'll see it was attempted but failed because I'm on a demo system. If it was a real system, it would allow me to go in to the system and edit what the error was, but it's the connector that's the error, not the data. Okay. Are there any questions, Michael, from any of our participants?
Yeah, we've got a couple. Excuse me, sorry, Alan. Yeah, so we've got first one is, what if we need to integrate with a platform that doesn't have an existing connector? I think you covered a bit of that. But...
Okay, if you've got a platform and the connector does not exist within Besyncly, we can create the connector. If we can get access to the API documentation for that platform, then we can create that connector as a bespoke connector for the client. Or if it is an older type of system that doesn't have an API, we can use the FTP model. And if that third party can create CSV files or accept CSV files, then that is a way of integration. So create new or use CSV integration on a non-registered connector.
Magic, thanks for that one, Alan. Second one we've got is, how many users are included and how many websites can you integrate with?
Okay, it's not about the number of users and it's not about the number of websites. It's about the cumulative transactions that come in on the Besyncly. So you can have as many users accessing the system at any time and as many websites. Obviously, if we're delivering Besyncly and they've got a handful of websites, the more websites they have, the more days will be required for the delivery. But it's the cumulativeness or the accumulation of all those websites, transactions coming together to make the overall transactions. So if that fits in the entry-level 20,000 transactions for Besyncly, then the price won't change.
Perfect, thanks for that one, Alan. We've got another question. Does it use a Sage license or do they need to be a web user in Sage?
It uses a remote user or a web user, so it doesn't take up a user count.
Perfect, thanks for that one. And I've got another one, sorry, is, can I integrate with more than one e-commerce platform into a single Sage company?
Indeed you can. So we've got many companies and they may have different branded e-commerce sites, perhaps due to an acquisition or a previous web manager. So we've got clients, SkateHut, they've got WooCommerce, Shopify, and something else. And it's all coming into the same Sage company. So yes, multiple sites, multiple branded sites into the one Sage company.
Perfect. Just like to say thanks again to Alan and the guys at Eureka for getting this in today. It's been a really, really interesting session, and thanks again.